to kindly commence the ceremony with the lighting of the ceremonial lamp. A very good evening to our Honorable Chief Guest, Honorable Mr. Justice K.V. Vishwanathan, our distinguished guests, esteemed faculty, respected participants, and all those present here. It is an absolute honor to welcome you all to the 21st edition of the K.K. Luthra Memorial Moot Court Competition. This competition holds a special place in the academic calendar of our institution because it brings together best legal minds to showcase their skills, while also honoring the legacy of the esteemed late Mr. K.K. Luthra, whose contributions in the field of law are remembered and revered. I would now request Ms. Geeta Luthra to kindly felicitate our chief guest. I would now like to invite Professor Gunjan Gupta, the acting professor in charge of Campus Law Center, to kindly deliver the welcome address.
Thank you, Anumeha. Thank you, Anumeha. A very good evening to all of you. Honorable Justice K.V. Vishwanathan, Judge Supreme Court of India, Shrimati Menaka Gandhi, parliamentarian and activist, members of the Luthra family, Mr. Siddharth Luthra, Mrs. Ketki Goswami, Dr. Meera Luthra, Mrs. Geeta Luthra, and esteemed dignitaries, respected faculty members, and dear participants. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to this 21st edition of the prestigious KK Luthra Memorial Moot Court Competition 2025, organized by Campus Law Center, Faculty of Law, University of Delhi, in collaboration with Nirmal Luthra Foundation. It is indeed our honor and proud privilege to be able to host you at this momentous event. Honorable Justice K.V. Vishwanathan, who needs no introduction, is a moniker for progressive outlook and legal acumen, whose heart lies in the welfare of the poor and the marginalized, while upholding the constitutional precepts. We are beyond honored to have a man of your stature and knowledge in our midst. Justice Vishwanathan has contributed to the legal field not only through his judgments, but also by assisting judicial interpretation and developing jurisprudence on the right to life with dignity in matters of public importance like the right to privacy, validity of Aadhaar Act, marriage equality, etc. Sir, your presence today is truly a fitting start to the inauguration of KK Luthra Moot Court Competition 2025. Campus Law Center Faculty of Law has been the proud recipient of the honor to host the prestigious KK Luthra Moot Court Competition for the last 21 years. I want a huge round of applause for this. This is a remarkable feat and indicates the love, trust, and admiration that Nirmal Foundation continues to repose, which is as generous as the endowment created by them. The Luthra family, helmed by Dr. Meera, Geeta, and Siddharth, has been running the foundation with great passion and dedication, allowing the future generation of lawyers to have a glimpse of the stature of Shri KK Luthra ji as an advocate, as an activist, and as a public-spirited citizen. Through this competition, the memory of Shri KK Luthra ji gives on further accentuated by his loving family, relatives, and friends. Senior advocate Siddharth Luthra, besides an alumnus of Campus Law Center, has been a former Additional Solicitor General of India, served as the Special Public Prosecutor in the Nirbhaya gang rape case. One of the biggest cases in his tenure as ACG was the proposed release of 7 convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case. In addition to his litigation work, Mr. Luthra is assisting the Supreme Court of India as amicus curiae in the matter of criminalization of politics, which is due to be heard by the Constitution Bench of the Supreme Court. Thank you. Apart from being a prodigious lawyer, skilled in the art of advocacy and courtroom craftsmanship, he is also a very loyal and humble alumnus of this institution. I take this opportunity to acknowledge his contributions. He keeps finding ways of giving back to his alma mater as much as possible. Recently, he distributed 8 laptops to the visually impaired students of the college. He is also getting air conditioners installed in the seminar hall of Campus Law Center. So a huge round of applause for Mr. Luthra. The whole Campus Law Center is grateful to you, Mr. Luthra, and his family for these generous contributions. I am also grateful to the family and friends of the Luthra family for having graced today's occasion. This event is not just a competition, but more like a family reunion, allowing us to reconnect with our teachers like Professor Rajiv Khanna and Professor Sethi, who are our mentors, students, members of faculty and administrative staff, allowing for the event to bring back the fond memories and reiterating our sense of duty not only to the earlier members of Campus Law Center, but also future generations who will become part of this great institution, as well as to provide opportunities of growth and learning while ensuring the connection with our roots. A participation by nearly 70 teams bears a true testimony of the fact that today KK Luthra Moot Court competition stands as one of the biggest and the most prestigious mooting competitions in the Asian subcontinent. A huge round of applause is expected. This event will bring together the passionate legal mind from
Rising us and highlighting of the Moot Court Society at Campus Law Center to share with us the annual report of the Moot Court Society.
Thank you, Dr. Anumeha. Warm greetings to our chief guest for the evening, Honorable Mr. Justice K.V. Vishwanathan, Judge, Supreme Court of India, respected acting Professor in Charge, Campus Law Center, Professor Dr. Kunjan Gupta Ma'am, Dr. Meera Luthra, Dr. Geeta Luthra, Mr. Siddharth Luthra, former ASG, and Senior Advocate Luthra, Senior Advocate, a renowned lawyer, and an advocate for justice since 2005. This 20th edition marks the centenary year celebration of Mr. K.K. Luthra and Srimati Nirmal Luthra. At this juncture, I also acknowledge the contributions of the Nirmal Luthra Foundation, established in the living memory of late Srimati Nirmal Luthra, wife of late Shri K.K. Luthra, and mother of Dr. Meera, Advocate Geeta, and Siddharth Luthra. Without her encouragement and motivation over years, this competition would not have reached the heights where it stands today. This exalted event is organized every year with an endeavor to provide a platform for law students to enhance their advocacy skills through factual analysis and calibrated arguments in the presence of Honorable High Court judges and the other legal luminaries of the country. It is a matter of pride for me to say that this competition has in India and Asia as well. It fills me with colossal pride and honor sharing the success story of the 20th KK Luthra Memorial Moot Court 2024, where we hosted 72 teams from 10 different countries. This entire event spent over 3 days with 5 layers of is one such society that believes in inculcating the art of articulation, fluency, and skill of in-depth research in the students, which not only gives the entire Campus Law Center. Ma'am has been so generous in extending her support not only in the day-to-day activities of Moot Court Society, but also in organizing this enriching and fulfilling experience.
Dr. Geeta Luthra, Dr. Meera Luthra, Dr. Anumesha, Siddharth Ketki, and members of the Shri KK Luthra family, students, participants, distinguished members in the audience, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to you. At the outset, let me thank Siddharth and the family for giving me this opportunity to come and be with you on this inaugural event of the 21st edition of the Shri KK Luthra Memorial Moot Court competition. Friends, a biographical sketch of the late jurist Sri K.K. Luthra was sent to me. I am sure, along with your moot court problem, you will pause and care to read that, because that itself is a very inspirational story. It's an inspirational story because displaced during the times of partition to relocate to Shimla, then to Delhi, and to find a footing in this profession as a first generation lawyer must be very inspiring for all of you to read. But it's very easy to be a competent lawyer. You'll find a lot of competent lawyers, you'll find many brilliant lawyers. But I think in Mr. Luthra, in the 10 years that I heard of him after my migration to Delhi, and today after nearly 27.5 years after his passing away, we still remember him. It's because of the nobility in him, the wonderful human being that he was. And it's a wonderful thing, Siddharth, Ketaki, Geeta, Dr. Meera, that you are perpetuating the memory, and it has now attained its 21st edition. Even in the 2 years that COVID intervened, you did not give up and held the competition virtually. That shows the determination of the family. But talking of moot court, I must tell you some personal experiences. My mind goes back to 1987 when I went over it. But before we deal with certain essential attributes that mooting teaches, I also want to mention a coincidence, Siddharth, that I noticed in the biographical sketch that you gave. Your mother, revered Sri Nirmal Luthra, taught in Delhi University, and Delhi Law Faculty being part of the Delhi University, it's so memorable that you are able to host this moot court competition here. But why moot at all? What is so significant about mooting? Because you are going to enroll and you're going to go through the motions in the legal profession. But I tell you, friends, having put in about 35 years in the profession, predominantly as a lawyer and last couple of years as a judge, mooting does give you certain advantage. It gives you the initial confidence. But let's look at a few of them. At the very outset, when you're asked to prepare a memorial, it improves your legal writing. And you will realize the significance of legal writing no sooner you join the legal profession when you're asked to draft pleadings. There is a certain precision which goes with legal drafting, which all of you who have volunteered to moot, who have succeeded in your college rounds, and you are now sponsored to participate here, have undergone. I think it's a huge advantage. You will only realize the advantage of it, the long time that is required to sit, the long spells of concentration required, the precision in writing, and to be precise in your writing, the extent of reading that you need to do, all that goes with legal writing will inure to your advantage. It also exposes you, secondly, to the legal research skill. Legal research is extremely important. It is a very, very specialized field. A problem at the outset will look very blank. You will really not to know how to get ahead with it. But if you follow the drill of research, and the fascinating thing about modern day mooting is, you even have your seniors who mentor you. We never had any of that. We were just given the 4 problems for the 4 rounds and asked to prepare for both sides. But mooting has also evolved, and with passage of time and with the mentoring that you have, legal research, because ultimately, and as I have now made it a point to say wherever I speak, a good lawyer is one not necessarily who knows the law, but knows where to look for it. And that is where legal research becomes very, very important. Something may look absolutely, unarguable, or something may look for which there is no answer. But if you probe deep into it, you will certainly find a facet of or a nuanced aspect of law which will throw some light for the proposition that you want to canvass. So make the best advantage of the mooting opportunity that you have. Thirdly, it develops oral advocacy. You are very early on exposed in your trial rounds, in your college rounds, in your competition here to, iron out what not to speak, what to speak and how to speak. This is extremely important. You realize that the judge is receptive to a good idea if presented in the proper manner. I am not saying you should be servile in your advocacy. Never be servile, whether in moots or in court. Assert your position, but the modulation of the tone, the modulation of the temperate language that you will use, the method of saying a certain thing. Maybe you could come to court to watch Siddharth, Geeta present their cases. There is something about advocacy. Someone said it's like selling an idea. For sales representatives, it was said that he was so good that he could sell a refrigerator to an Eskimo. Imagine selling a refrigerator to an Eskimo. So when you say, you don't have to be, aggressive. What aggression does is it disturbs the equilibrium. It's like two people conversing. Imagine if you're aggressive to someone, he's not going to be receptive to your idea. And that's the same thing with what happens in court. At the same time, even if he doesn't agree with you or she doesn't agree with you in the first round, in the first spell, you could come back to the same thing without repeating ad nauseum facts. So there is a method of advocacy which you will learn, and that's a process. It can't be theorized. So I think that's the third advantage. It of course teaches you logical thinking. You will know in what order a certain thing has to be arranged. That will come with intense preparation. Once you are on top of the facts, that's what we all have realized, both as young lawyers, as senior lawyers, and even as judges, that once you are on top of the facts, there is a certain assurance which, permeates in your mind, that it automatically brings in the clarity, the logic, and there's a knack. The doubts get sorted out, and then you get the holy spark, which turns the whole case. But there are other advantages. When you come here, I find that last year you had 72 teams who have come, 72 institutions with 116 teams. It gives you fellowship, and fellowship is one of the lamps of advocacy. Sir Abbott Barry said, very often repeated, you must have heard it, but I am going to add an eighth lamp. There are 7 lamps of advocacy. Honesty. It's always good to be honest and upright. If a judge asks you a question, tell the judge what exactly is on record, but tell him that I have an explanation for it. Courage. You need courage. Advocates need courage. Courage to speak, stand up for a cause, courage to stand up to truth, courage to take up a matter. I find that some of the sensational matters, very often a question is asked, how did you take up this matter, how did you take up that matter? It is your duty to take up unpleasant causes, and we go by the cab rank rule. Whichever client approaches you first, unless you are conflicted. So honesty, courage, industry. Industry is extremely important, however brilliant you are. That's been my experience. I've seen brilliant lawyers fade away because they won't put the necessary effort. But I've seen not so brilliant lawyers, because of the enormous hard work, get ahead. So honesty, courage, industry, wit. Don't sacrifice wit at the end of the day. You see, this is one of the facets of your life. And wit can help you in court too. A good wit, not buffoonery. Excess of wit is buffoonery. A lack of wit is boorishness, is what someone said. But a good repartee can carry your day in court. I'll tell you an incident which I read. I don't know whether it is true. In a court in remote England, the lawyer made a case which ultimately came to this, that my client didn't know this rule existed. So the judge immediately said, don't you know ignorantia juris non excusat? Ignorance of law is no excuse. So the lawyer said, of course, my lord, in the remote town where my rustic client hails from, that is the only talk of the town. So, you know, the atmosphere was immediately lightened. So, honesty, courage, wit, industry, eloquence. Eloquence doesn't mean, you know, fluent language. What eloquence is, how you put across the substance, pithily, in a few words, in a manner that has to be attractive. Judgment is how you judge a scenario, judge a situation, and fellowship. Fellowship is how, you know, you mingle with your brethren. Why do we call my friend a learned friend? It's because that is the tradition. You give respect to your friend. Sometimes when you watch an opponent argue and put in so much effort, you sometimes start admiring. In the initial days, you will feel that what is there, my case is the best because the client has come to me first, he is the angel. But slowly you will find, as you progress in the profession, you develop respect for your opponents. And the eighth lamp, which K.V. Krishnaswamy Iyer in his professional conduct and advocacy adds, is tact. And I think it's the most important lamp of advocacy. There are so many lawyers who have failed because of lack of tact in court. And tact is nothing but saying the right thing at the right time, and avoiding what ought not to be said, interrupting where it is required, otherwise, you know, resuming your seat, waiting for your turn. Tact has so many facets. So, not that all of this will be taught to you in the few rounds of Moot that you do, but you have made a very good beginning, and you should be so happy that you have got this exposure, which perhaps many of your friends who may not have volunteered would not get. Apart from that, you get to meet people, you get to travel, which itself is a very big education, and then it lays the foundation. It also tells you where is your aptitude. There are so many other parts, but as you learn intellectual property, some may get fascinated by it. This is a criminal law Moot, and the questions are so fascinating. I don't know if we were asked to Moot these questions today, what will be our immediate response? Whether crime 360 report is admissible, made out of an artificial intelligence, generated report, whether conviction for culpable homicide for causing death of person other than those whose death was intended. There is a specific section in the Indian Penal Code dealing with it. You must have all researched for it. Maybe there is a recent pronouncement also on that a week or 10 days back. Whether appellant should be convicted for murder, etc., conviction for unlawful assembly, all these have new facets, but the technology part of your problem, I think, will expose you to new facets. Law is evolving. It's not the old traditional, criminal evidence procedure and then civil, CRPC, CPC. Today you have technology, electronic evidence, method of admissibility of electronic evidence. So it exposes you to subjects. Ultimately, you will gravitate towards an area where you find your passion, you think it's most comfortable. Maybe that could be your niche area. But initial years, you will have to not confine yourself to the niche area. You will have to do a bit of everything. I'm not saying you should be a jack of all and master of none, but keeping one niche area as fulcrum, get exposure in all round, because law you cross-pollinate. You cross-pollinate in subjects and you get new ideas, you incorporate them in different jurisdictions. So I don't want to keep it long. You are all anxious to Moot. Let me wish the function all success. All of you, ultimately it's not about winning, it's about participating, it's about learning from each other, it's from learning from the process. I wish the 21st edition all success. I am very happy to inaugurate it. I wish you all the best. Keep up the great work. And at the end of the day, this is an opportunity for you to make friends. I have had lifelong friends from my 1987 Moot in Lucknow. Some of them are sitting judges. Some of them are practicing lawyers. So it's a great opportunity. Make friends. Keep in touch with them. And I wish you good luck. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir, for so succinctly highlighting the qualities that one needs to have as an advocate and for motivating the students. I now invite Mr. Samarth Luthra to kindly propose the vote of thanks.
Justice K.V. Vishwanathan, Judge Supreme Court of India. On behalf of the Nirmal Luthra Foundation, I thank you, sir, for taking out the time, being here today, and for your motivational words. Thank you, sir. My sincere thanks also to Professor Alka Chawla, the Professor in Charge, Campus Law Center, and to Professor Gupta, Acting PIC, Campus Law Center. Thank you for making this event possible, ma'am. To our friends and family, I see Professor Khanna, Professor Sethi, participants every year without fail. Thank you, sir. And we cannot forget Professor Suman Yadav and her team of professors and 300 plus volunteers who've been working tirelessly to make this event happen for the last many months. Around participants, the backbone of this competition. I'm proud to announce that this year we received 127 registrations from 9 countries. And we've shortlisted the top 75 teams to participate in the Moot. Thank you all for making this competition your own, and all the best for the next 3 days, sorry. For the last 21 years, this competition, the success of this competition has been achieved with the help, the assistance of over 100 lawyers, our colleagues who will come over the weekend to judge this competition. My sincere gratitude to all of them. Thank you all.
Thank you, everyone. With this, we conclude our inaugural function. I would like to invite all of you to join us for tea and snacks. Thank you. Okay, I just request the dignitaries to kindly stay on the dais.
I request all the registration and communication volunteers to escort the judges for different rounds to the seminar hall of LC1 for judges briefing. Refreshments will be provided there. All the judges for the